Hello. Today I'm going to talk to you about introvert and extrovert confusion because there seems to be a lot of this in the MBTI community and it's frustrating. I think the number one frustrating thing about it is if you mistype, you're not going to be able to get the best out of yourself and your type. You're not going to be able to enjoy who you are to the fullest. I heard an MBTI YouTuber say that half the people on YouTube are typing themselves as the incorrect type. And that's the reason why it took me a very long time to actually say what my MBTI type was because I figured that people were going to draw their own conclusions and I wanted to allow people to do that. Also, I wanted people to hear what I had to say about a variety of types and interests that I had without looping in what my MBTI type is. And also, when I'm listening to someone's YouTube video and I'm not agreeing with the type that they say they are, it makes me feel like if you don't have a handle on who you are, then isn't that going to color and change the way that you interpret other people's types because you're taking on a cognitive function that really isn't yours? Or now, I'm not so arrogant that I will say that I get every MBTI type correct. I don't. I've definitely had my share of arguments, that are kind of fun but heated about someone's MBTI type. It's just part of the MBTI world. You gotta have a few arguments here and there. There are people who greatly despise an aspect of who they are. They just want to detach from it, run from it. It could be from their childhood wounds. Oh, I was seen as quiet or weak. So even though I'm an introvert, don't call me that because I get very offended by that. I don't want to be that little girl anymore. I'm a people person. Or there are some people who have some identity issues. There could be some personality disorders in there. And so they may cling to a type because it helps to define who they are. And that's why it's so upsetting if someone tries to pull that type away from them because it's everything to them. And it's scary to not have an identity. One of the things that I use with MBTI is my knowledge of psychology because that for me explains a lot of things that people can't explain about someone's type. For example, if someone is narcissistic, that's going to color someone's MBTI type differently. And they're not going to be able to put a finger on why can't I figure out this person's type. It's because there's some other stuff going on. Because I believe that one letter changes everything about your personality type. So I can't just say, well, I'm an ENFJ, but because I feel more introverted, I've got to be an INFJ. No, because as an ENFJ, I'm inclined to look at the forest, not the trees. So I'm looking at the whole picture of the person. Like for me, each MBTI type has its own color, it has its own style, it resonates differently, it just feels different. So just because someone is an introvert versus an extrovert, it's not the same type. An ESTJ is not the same as an ISTJ just because you interchange the letters and one is more quiet and the other one is louder. It doesn't work like that. So when I hear people who are very, very extroverted say, I'm 70% introvert. That's what I heard an ENTP say the other day, and I just laughed. I'm watching you as you speak get tons of energy from the people that you're interacting with. But here's why the person feels that he is an introvert, because he has a select group of friends, maybe a couple. He doesn't want to party. He doesn't want to hang out. He's not interested in a bunch of social functions. He doesn't want to do it. He's a homebody. But that's where his love language comes into play. He's not quality time. He doesn't care about how much time you're spending with him. That doesn't equate to love for him. He wants to be alone. He was also raised as an only child. So, only children are used to having a lot of space around them to rejuvenate, to recharge. So, even if you are an extrovert, if that's how you've been conditioned, well, that's what you're going to identify as. However, that does not mean that he is an INTP. There's just so much extrovert introvert confusion. I've heard introverts say that they are extroverted because they love being around people. They need to be around people. Their love language is quality time. They want to do social invites. Sometimes you may have ISFPs who are they can be a very fun type. They like to have fun, so they may feel inherently extroverted, but that is not their Myers-Briggs type. And that's why, to me, it's important to also have an intuitive feel of what the picture of that person's type looks like as well. So, ironically, just because you feel like one or the other doesn't mean that that's who you are in Myers-Briggs world. So, I think there needs to be some redefinition, or I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. There are people out there who do have the answer to that. I'm an ENFJ, and I was raised in an introverted household. So I need my alone time. I need my downtime to recharge, to gather my thoughts. I relish it because growing up, I had a lot of that and I loved it. I enjoyed, you know, being given my space to imagine and to do what I wanted to do without a parent being all over me, like, oh my gosh, we need to spend quality time together. We need to be doing stuff at all times. No, I want to play with my Play-Doh. I want to create something right now. So I appreciate introvert world, but I don't say that I'm an introvert, even though there have been times when I have examined my type and I have done self examination like, could I be an INFJ? I mean, I love INFJs, but I don't think I am an INFJ. But I think I can be frustrating to people because if they're very extroverted or they're very quality time, I'm going to frustrate them because quality time is the lowest love language for me. My time is precious. So I want to spend it how I want to spend it. I want to control it how I want to control it. The interesting thing is sometimes when I am with a lot of people, I do get energized. I do get hyped up. I am flying all over the place, but not always. There are times when I present as introverted because I feel a certain level of social anxiety, or I may feel overwhelmed or shy or uncomfortable. You can be shy and not be an introvert. You can be an extrovert and be shy, or you could be an introvert and not be shy. Deeming yourself as an introvert or an extrovert to determine what your Myers-Briggs type is. You have to have an understanding of the whole type. And that's also where cognitive functions can come into play to help you out. You're looking at the person and they look very much like one type, but they tell you, but I'm a feeler. I really care and I'm subjective. But then you see objectivity all the time. Sometimes it is difficult. Every once in a while, you have that person where it's just, there's something that's just not clear. But I know an ISTJ who wants to be intuitive so badly, but their lingo is nothing but sensor. It's details, it's facts, It's descriptions of what they see and what they feel and what they're tasting and what they're, it's sensor, but they're insistent that they are very intuitive. Now, this ISTJ doesn't want to identify with her type at all, even though she knows this is my type. But don't talk to me about my type because I'm not identifying, because I'm super intuitive. Now, the person is a 5 on the Enneagram, which means that they're an observer. So if you're observing people all the time, you're picking up on things, you're honing in on details. But oh no, don't identify me with that either. I'm intuitive. Well, that's why sometimes there are other factors that have a big influence on how a person sees themselves. So it's helpful to understand a variety of aspects about MBTI. I think it helps to be self-aware, to be in touch with who you are as a person. I think there's something cool about all 16 types. There's something incredibly fascinating. And so when you're talking to someone about their MBTI type and you can't go in depth about who they really are because they have blinders on or they don't want to see it, it's like they're missing out on a lot of the strengths. They're missing out on a lot of wonderful qualities about themselves if they're interested in MBTI, and they want to explore that. It's like, how can you explore it in a fake way where you're pretending with them to be something that they're actually not? Like, that's so not fun to me. I want to delve into who you are. I want to delve into your type and like rip it apart and let's dissect it and let's have fun with it. I hope this kind of gives you a perspective. If you want to see me rant on some more videos, give me a thumbs up. And maybe I will. I don't know. All right. Well, thanks so much for watching Tams PsychAdvice. And I will catch you on the next video.